Greetings, everyone. Lenon here. I want to greet you with lots of love, peace, and positivity. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing wonderful. The family's doing wonderful. And it's a very exciting time, very busy time. And I'll say kind of stressful, too. I got a lot on my plate. And the deadline for the documentary, getting it done, was yesterday. And I'm still not done. So I've been doing my best every single day to do as much as possible. And I've been sacrificing sleep at this point, and I'll keep moving forward. We've had some hang-ups with the studio down in San Diego in terms of audio, and so I got to go back down there again tonight and try to get all of that finished up, and then bring it all back home and drop it into the timeline for the documentary. And then at that point, there's only a few other things that I need to get done in order to have everything completed. But the reason why I'm bringing this all up right now is because even though it's been a very stressful time, I've also had a very positive outlook on things. And one of the reasons why I've had a positive outlook on things is because we will be moving in July. There's a house that will be opening up July 1st, and we have made plans to make the big move. It's been a long time coming, and most of you are aware of the challenges that we've had and challenges that we face in this neighborhood. We haven't talked about it much lately, but they have been continuous. As an example, 2 days ago, there was a domestic violence situation that took place in front of the house. And then the day before that, it was the same couple. They had a situation. I was actually in San Diego at that time, that first day. The second day, I was actually here. I was doing a consultation, and I had to, after I was done, I had to come out. And my wife had to call the police, so I had to talk with the police and all this stuff. And it's really bad. And they had these children, young children, and I've seen them walking. I think they're homeless. I think they sleep in the van, but then they also visit our neighbors over here. A lot of people who are in dire straits tend to visit over next door because they deal drugs out of there's a camper literally right outside this window, and they deal drugs out of that camper. So we get an influx of negativity, and it seems like stuff always happens like right in front of our house for some reason. They tend to park their cars because there's like 16 people living over there. Actually, right now I think it's about 14, but they park their cars in front of the house. And then I think they have about 4 cars that are on the street, and 4 of those actually don't work. And then they got other cars in the backyard over here, and those cars don't work. I think they have like 2 cars that actually work right. No, 3 cars that actually work right now. So we've dealt with a lot of negativity. There's been situations where, I've had to be, I had to be who I was a long time ago in order to deal with these people. And I've had to use language that I tend not to use these days. And I had to be real forceful, and I had to be threatening too at times because I had to protect my family. This environment, and this is part of what I want to talk about in this video, this environment is not conducive to my own peacefulness. Is that a word? In other words, I can't really be my authentic self and really what I have become here in the way that I would like, because the environment makes it necessary for me to always be on guard. Like I'm always on guard, even right now. Like I'm always listening out. And at night, even if I'm working on things at night, I'll go outside and I'll look around and make sure. Like I'm always on guard. Every time I take the dog out to use the bathroom, or whatever, I'll take a little stroll around and just, I'll look around, and we have a fence, but there's always stuff going on. So this ought to say that one of the reasons why I've had a much more positive outlook on things, even though right now is a very stressful time, and the deadline passed yesterday, and I have to get this done. And I got the Free Your Mind conference early next month. I have to get my lecture together for that. I have consultations lined up. I have to do that. There's just a lot to do, but I've remained positive. And one of the reasons why is because I'm seeing into the future, and I'm seeing very clearly that the blessing is really the move and being in a bigger house, better neighborhood, in an environment that is more peaceful, calmer. And then there's also a lot there in that area, because we researched it online. There's a lot there in the area for children. There's an aquatics center, and they have aquariums and different animals and all that. And, my children love that kind of stuff. What we want to do is get a year-long pass for the whole family, and we'll go whenever the children want to. So I think it's about 15 minutes away from our the house, and then there's Whole Foods out there that's about 15 minutes away. There's a Sprouts, which is a store that we tend to buy groceries at here in Hemet. We purchase most of our groceries from that store, and they have one near the house there, and they have nature trails. So looking into the future, I have a lot to look forward to, and I have to keep my eyes set on that. But the documentary, getting it done, is part of getting there. Getting the documentary done, even the Free Your Mind conference, that's part of getting there. So the house opens up in July. So we're already in the middle of March. So let's just say April, May, June, 3.5 months. And it's really good timing because once I have the documentary done, it'll be basically at the beginning of January, February, March, April, and then we will basically have 3 months to get everything together to move. Now, the reason I'm saying this is, and I want to just say this to you all in advance, because there's going to be some changes that are going to take place. And one of the things that's going to take place is just who I can become and who I really want to be. I'll be in an environment that I can actually express that. We're in here, like, because I'm always on guard, I have to be like this protective. When I'm walking outside, I got to have this kind of like this scowl on my face, and I'm looking around, so that people know, it's body language, but so that people know you don't mess with my family. You guys can have all this stuff going on. There's always stuff going on, trust me, but you better keep it outside of the confines of our fence, and it better not come in any way as a threat to my family. So I'm always in that mode. In fact, there's never a point throughout the day that I'm not in that mode. So it's like a hypervigilance, and it takes a lot of energy to be. You have to have high energy to be on that mode 24 hours a day. But I just keep thinking to myself, like, what will happen when I'm in a peaceful environment and I don't have to be that way? Where does that energy go, right? Because energy, it doesn't dissipate. It just transfers from one thing to another. So all the energy that I put into like being the defense, there's nothing wrong with being the protector of your family. I think that's part of what it means to be a man. But I'm hypervigilant because of the environment that we're in. It's necessary, and I recognize that. But what happens then when I'm in a peaceful environment and I don't have to have that hypervigilance, and then I can redirect that energy to other things? Creativity, being more pleasant, being nice. And I tend to be nice, but there are times where, stuff wears on you over time. It really does, and it hardens you. My wife and I, we were talking about this last night, and we talked about it before, but she says this environment has changed her, and it's true, it's changed me too. And in some ways, it's changed us in a positive way, but then there's other ways where it's really hasn't been a good thing, but what I think about, even beyond all of that, is that the fact that we've been able to raise a loving family. And you've seen our children, like they, I wish I had a childhood like love, and it's not that everything is perfect all the time, because we do have to discipline them. We don't do physical discipline, but we have to make sure that we guide them and give them instructions. And sometimes we have to, hey, look, go get into bed. We can't deal with you right now. Get your attitude together, what have you. We deal with that stuff. I mean, it's perfectly normal, natural stuff. But it's a place of love. So what I'm saying is that if we are living in an environment like this, and we're still able to create this bubble of love, and not just with our children, but also my wife and I in our relationship, then what happens when we're in a positive relationship? There's two things I think that's important to note here, and that is to say that your environment does matter, but when it comes to your ability to love, you can still love within your home, regardless of what's taking place on the external. And I think that that's really what the home is about. It's about you create whatever you wish to create within the home, regardless of what's taking place external. But what happens when the love that you have inside of the home is placed within an environment or within a neighborhood where there's more peace? What happens then? My wife and I, tomorrow we celebrate our 16-year anniversary. That will be 16 years of us being together, and it's been remarkable. We've lived in some pretty rough situations. We really have from the beginning. It's been tough for us. It really has. And this neighborhood, when we first moved here, it was okay. I mean, there were problems, but over the last 7 years, it's just gotten way out of hand to the point where it's like, wow, well, why are we here? But now we have an opportunity to move beyond this and be in a more peaceful environment, and we're looking forward to that. We're really looking forward to that. So that's why, like, I can be very positive and happy right now, regardless of the challenges that we're dealing with in the documentary. And I've spent another $1,000+ on the audio to get the audio tuned up, and things haven't worked out. And as of right now, I actually haven't gotten anything tangible from spending that $1,000, and I still got to spend some more money tonight when I go down to the studio. So I'm going down to try to get things corrected so that I can actually have something tangible to bring back home. There's been all these issues with that. That's very stressful, you know, because that $1,000 could have gone to towards, and really it should have gone towards DVD duplication. So I'm having to balance all these different things, and you know, the stress associated with it and getting things done. The deadline just passed yesterday, but despite all the, and then I had to go out to Los Angeles the other day to grab some more video footage, some final video footage shots for the documentary that we really should have had 6 months ago. So I've been doing a lot of driving and paying for gas. So it's a lot. Like it's been a really serious strain. But despite all of that, despite the environment and the stress, I've been very positive lately. And despite the lack of sleep, I've been very positive, and I have high energy right now. And part of what I'm saying is that wherever you're at in your life right now, you can still do well, and you can still have positivity and love in your life. You can make it manifest. You know, I have a saying that spirituality is the ability to materialize and manifest happiness at will. You can literally manifest happiness at will, regardless of where you're at in your life right now, regardless of the environment that you're at in right now. Doesn't mean that you don't have to struggle with things in your environment from time to time, which I do, but within your home, within your body, within your mind, you can materialize and manifest peace and happiness and love at will. And then imagine once you move beyond the environment that maybe not that maybe it doesn't support that paradigm of peace and love and happiness. Maybe it brings a lot of negativity and toxicity and sadness into your life. What happens then when you move beyond it? See, you've already developed the skill to create, materialize, and manifest happiness at will, regardless of what's taking place on the external. Now, what happens when you get into an environment that actually supports love, peace, and happiness? See, so that's what I'm saying. There's a lot for me to look forward to, and there's a lot that is inspirational for me, regardless of what's taking place right now and the struggles that we're dealing with. And there's always going to be struggles. But how do we manage those struggles, and how do we have vision of the future that reaches beyond our current situation or circumstance? I think that that's one of the great lessons that I'm learning right now, the great lessons that this documentary is teaching me. And the last thing I just want to say is that there's going to be some changes, because there's part of me that wants to share more with people in terms of spirituality, and wants to share more with people in terms of yoga, and wants to share more with people in terms of meditation, that kind of stuff, and you know, relaxation and music, right? Because I've done that stuff before, and I've spent a lot of time with that. And see, the thing is that has had a place in terms of my development, and it's brought a lot of peace, and it's allowed me to become very, very patient. You'll find I'm one of the most patient people you ever meet. You know, I rarely get ruffled. It's only if people start to infringe upon my family negativity or my family's safety, then I'll flip, you know, but I have to defend my family by any means necessary. But under normal circumstances, very patient, very peaceful, and very calm. And that's something I want to be able to share with people more. However, it's been difficult to do that while I've been here, because I've had to be in a different mode of operation 24 hours a day. So part of what I'm saying to you all is that I'm looking forward to actually being in a new environment, because it's going to allow me to become more of who I really am, more of my authentic self, as opposed to this person who has to be on guard 24 hours a day. You know, and again, we're here as men to protect our family. Yes, we're here as men to protect our children. Yes, we're here as men to protect women. Yes, but to be hyper vigilant because of your environment, or to be hyper vigilant because of the negativity and toxicity that's in your environment, it really it transforms you. It makes you into a different person other than the person that you are authentically. So I'm looking forward to that. You know, and I'm sharing this with you all now, because there will be some changes. There's going to be some positive changes, and there's already been some more positive changes as we've continued to progress. And I'm just looking forward to the point where we get to move. And once we move and we're in a new environment, we're also going to be in a position to do more videos and to share more positivity and share more with the videos about the family and all that kind of stuff. So we're really looking forward to this. So regardless of where you're at right now, just remember that you have the ability to materialize and manifest happiness right now, regardless of where you're at in terms of your environment, in terms of your living situation, in terms of your finances, in terms of your relationships. You do have the ability to materialize and manifest happiness at will. And when you master that skill under your current situation, your situations they change over time. Once that situation changes and it becomes more positive, what happens then? You've already trained yourself to be positive and to be able to materialize and manifest happiness at will in the other environment, which was more difficult to be able to, and it was more difficult to materialize and manifest happiness at will in that environment. Well, now what happens when you're in a much more peaceful environment? It becomes actually easier to materialize and manifest happiness at will. So this is the point. Do it now, regardless of where you're at in your life. And you can. And I am. Okay? I want to send you lots of love, peace, and positivity. And I will talk with y'all soon. Take care. Peace.